A joint venture is essentially when two businesses decide to pool their resources to market what they do. They're businesses who have services that complement each other. So, for example, you might have a business that specializes in teaching people how to build a website. And then you decide to basically join forces with somebody who teaches social media. So both of you offer something that the other doesn't do. And if you both have similar audiences, then it makes total sense for you to promote each other. So a joint venture can mean lots of things. So collaboration could take the form of,
hey there, peeps. This is Michelle Nedelak. Thank you for listening to the show. I would love if you could give us your opinion on how you felt about the show, your experience that you have in regards to what we've been talking about. I am having an absolute blast, but your input is like dynamite on that explosion. So give us your input. We'd love to hear from you. Any questions, comments, concerns? Give us everything you got. We love it. Thanks. I hope you're having an awesome day. Welcome to the Business Ownership Podcast, brought to you by Awareness Strategies, helping you navigate the waters between entrepreneurship and ownership. Hey there, peeps. This is Michelle Nedelak, and I'm super glad that you're here with us today because I'm here with my most amazing guest, Danny. Danny, thank you so much for being here with us today.
hey, Michelle, it's great to be here.
Nice. So give us a highlight of who you are and what you do for business.
My name is Danny Bermant. I run a business called Captain JV. And what we do is we help coaches and consultants attract their ideal clients through joint venture partnerships. I primarily work with people who don't like selling. They don't like having to go out and find clients. They don't like having to spend thousands of dollars in advertising. And they want to be in a situation where they have people coming to them who are pre-sold, who are warm, who want to talk to them, as opposed to people where they've got to chase them and have these very painful sales conversations.
Nice. I love it. And we will totally get into that in a minute. But before we do that, how did you pick joint ventures as your area of expertise? How did you get into that?
So I've been doing, I was doing for quite a few years, I was doing internet marketing. And some part of the ways that I got clients was I used to network and I used to do joint ventures in quite an informal way. So, for example, we do a co-hosted webinar where we'd agree to present different marketing ideas, and we both kind of promote it to our audiences, and we both benefit from the from leads that came as a result. What really got me interested in joint ventures as something to focus on 100% of the time was the pandemic. For so many people, as you know, the pandemic caused people to shift their life, to change, to completely reevaluate what they wanted to do differently. For me, the isolation that happened during the pandemic made me realize that actually what I really, really missed was having contact with people. A lot of people in the pandemic who actually quite enjoyed the isolation. They kind of said, "Oh, I love it. I love being at home. I can't stand having to go out and meet people all the time." For me, it was torture. And I realized that actually what my passion was really about people and relationships, and I think ultimately that's what makes business fun. It's the people behind the businesses, and it doesn't matter what the business is, and it doesn't matter how quote unquote boring the business is. It's the human stories behind the people in the business that makes it exciting.
Nice, I love it. Well, and you've had some fantastic successes throughout the pandemic, which is great to hear. We love those. But let's talk about the whole concept of joint ventures, what it is, and demystify it. Because I know there's a lot of people out there that still have no clue what joint ventures are in this aspect of it. And it becomes very confusing with other aspects of affiliate marketing. So if you could clarify kind of what aspect of affiliate marketing are you looking at specifically, and how does it all work?
So
a 3-day question, I know.
So yeah, and I can address all that. So a joint venture is essentially when two businesses decide to pool their resources to market what they do. They're businesses who have services that complement each other. So, for example, you might have a business that specializes in teaching people how to build a website. And then you decide to basically join forces with somebody who teaches social media. So both of you offer something that the other doesn't do. And if you both have similar audiences, then it makes total sense for you to promote each other. So a joint venture can mean lots of things. So collaboration could take the form of you both deciding to co-host a webinar together. It could be the fact that you're both running a mastermind group or a course where you decide to actually bring both of your talents into each other's programs, right? So if you're a social media expert, I might get you to teach that to my audience, and that gives you an opportunity to actually for people to discover you and to buy from you. A joint venture can also be something like agreeing to refer business to each other. So maybe you have two businesses. One business is focusing on helping business owners to grow, to scale. So you focus on teaching business owners strategy. But what you do is you don't implement it, right? So you have partners who run, for example, Google AdWords campaigns, or you might have people who are building their business, but they don't have the staff that they need. So you work with experts who are experts on hiring. And what you do there is you agree to refer business to each other. So you meet on a regular basis, you discuss the clients you're working with, and you say, you know what, I'm helping this person to scale their business. They have a real problem. They can't hire the staff they need. I think they should talk to you, and you refer them. So joint ventures I can think of about 6 or 7 different ways that you can JV with another business.
Nice, love it. So is there a kind of industries that are more prone to doing joint ventures than others? Does it work best for some? Or could it work for anybody?
I imagine it can work in all sorts of different scenarios. The where I see it used very widely is amongst experts. So it's people who are not so much selling a product, they're selling their expertise. So it could be, for example, your professional services, lawyers, accountants, financial advisors. They're all examples of people selling services. It could be a business coach. It could be somebody who's specializing in helping people to scale their business, right? So all those people where you basically are, where you have knowledge that you want to share, you want to basically find ways in which you can increase your reach, you can monetize your knowledge, and it lends itself very well to joint venture with other related businesses. You don't have to physically be present in the same place. You can join forces online and reach out to each other's audiences that way.
So when somebody's looking at this, say somebody hasn't thought of this as an option before. Like I always say that, joint ventures is kind of like hiring 100% commission salespeople for you that already have an audience and already poise to be able to sell you better than you sell yourself. And when people can catch on to that, it makes a lot of sense for them. But somebody that's never done this before, you mentioned lawyers, and there are some that are kind of on the speaking circuit, and so they're a little more experienced in joint ventures or understanding how the whole affiliate process works. Explain to somebody that runs a firm kind of how, just as an example, if somebody were a firm and they came to you and said, hey, we want to find out more about this whole aspect, what does it mean to us? What do we need to have in place? Like, where do they start?
So actually, I've got a very good example of that. I had on my podcast last week somebody called Heather Pierce Campbell, who is known as the legal website warrior. And she went straight into private practice from graduating. She never worked in a law firm. And from the very beginning, she just looked up local firms. She saw firms that were in the news, and she built up a spreadsheet and just reached out to them and said, listen, I'm just starting up. I'm starting up my firm. I would really, really love to understand more about some of the issues you're seeing in your practice. I want to understand more about the pitfalls and the challenges. Can we go out for a coffee? And she was just surprised to find the number of lawyers who just took her out for lunch, took her out for coffee, very happy to share their insights on law. And more than that, they were told her about cases they wouldn't handle. So she was able to discover loads of opportunities where law firms got approached to handle cases. There were cases that they weren't willing to deal with, and those firms could actually pass business onto her. And all it took was her to just reach out to a firm and, reach out to a partner and just have a friendly coffee, have lunch with them, and just discuss it with them.
Nice. And as easy as that, getting direct.
It's that simple. It's that simple. But
Right.
people would rather basically, people would rather, stick needles in their eyes than actually reach out to somebody and ask them for help. people will do the most complicated, convoluted ways to get business. It's so much easier to talk to people who you know.
Right. So what are kind of some of the reasons that in your opinion, that somebody might be looking at? So you've mentioned that they didn't like sales. I assume that explains almost every service professional out there. They went in business to go and do their thing, not to do sales. What else might be what other issues might they be having that they would be primed for this?
I think a really big one is that if you think about the actual cost of business development, the cost of advertising, the cost of hiring somebody to build a social media campaign I'm not, by the way, I just think as a caveat, I don't want to for a minute to suggest that none of these things are worthwhile. I'm just saying that for many smaller businesses, right, to invest in advertising, to invest in setting up social media campaigns, these are often things which are longer term, right? Setting up a LinkedIn campaign. These are things which are often a slow burn. It's a long pipeline. It takes time to warm people up. And when at that stage in your business, when you're bootstrapping, you don't have lots of money to spend, the most effective way to get business is to actually tap into your network and see who people know. And not just, I'm not talking about random, do you know anybody who might have work for me? But seriously, like, think strategically. Who are the people who work with your clients, right? Why don't you get to go for a coffee and actually get them to go through their Rolodex of contacts who might be a good contact for you? Right. People will be only too happy to do that. And it's you know what? That's a form of marketing. At the end of the day, you've got a group of people who are repeatedly aiming blows. Alexa, pause. Sorry, Alexa decided to join the podcast. I mean, to me, it's a great way. It's word of mouth marketing. It's you're building up a group of people who are only too happy to talk about your business to other people. And you just alluded to it before, that we are never as good at selling as our network are, right? Doesn't matter how good you are at sales. It's always more convincing when someone else is recommending you than when you're recommending yourself.
Absolutely. Well, and a lot of your clientele, if I understand correctly, are speakers as well. So they get in front of audiences. So they're not just kind of going one-on-one and, hey, we have this client that, I don't deal with the area of expertise that they're looking for somebody in. But when you're working with an audience of people who are your ideal clientele, or they're at least in the right vicinity of being your ideal clientele, kind of talk to me about the exponential marketing value of that versus just kind of going out and talking one-on-one.
Yeah. So ultimately, I think there is some sense of division. I think when you are selling, if you're a business that is basically signing up clients where the value of the business is in the tens of thousands of dollars, it may actually be more effective to have one-on-one conversations. But a lot of the people I work with are selling business, which is they're selling, for example, courses or programs which are $1,500, $2,000, $5,000. When it comes to that value, it's actually not very profitable to have conversations one at a time, or to network and try and find individuals to buy your program. It's much better to broadcast to an audience of many. So if you do have, the most effective way to get your message out is actually to collaborate with someone where you have an audience that you can broadcast to about them, and they have an audience they can broadcast to about you. So instead of going to one person at a time, you're telling 1,000 people, 2,000 people, 3,000 people. And actually, you don't even have to have a huge audience. I've seen people who literally have audiences are in the hundreds. And they have ended up attracting, clients at thousands of dollars. Absolutely. So don't think, well, I can't do JV. A big objection of JVs is, well, I'm not really ready to do JVs. My audience isn't big enough. Doesn't really matter. If your audience is relevant to somebody else, if it's a fit, there are lots of people who want to work with you. So.
Nice. So if somebody's looking at this and going, yeah, well, I understand that, I'm catching on to how the concept works. I have a higher end product to sell. You mentioned kind of those $1,500, $2,000 items. Do you help somebody build those products out so that it makes sense to have something to offer in a joint venture relationship in order to be able to get the higher end clients, or how does that work?
So I'm just trying to understand the question.
Yeah.
So
So if somebody doesn't have an entry level product, they go from kind of an opt-in to a $10,000 plus product.
Yeah.
How do you help them to create those kind of interim products that are more joint venture appropriate, if you want to put it that way?
I do help clients to actually look at their offer and see, is this something that people want to promote? Because people can really like you, they can really like your audience, but if they feel your offer sucks, they're not going to necessarily want to promote you. It's not because they necessarily want commission, but they're thinking, my audience are not going to thank me for this.
Right.
But actually, it's quite possible, and I've sold this myself. You can have people who come onto a webinar, and then from the back of the webinar, you might organize some more intensive training, like a 3-hour boot camp or a 3-day boot camp. That's quite common. From there, you can take people to a high value program, because what you can do is you can get people on a 3-day program, like you do 3 days of training or something, and then people can then come on discovery call with you, and then you can sell them onto a program that's potentially tens of thousands of dollars. I think the key thing is you just need to take them through a process where trust is being built up. They've had enough experience of working with you to understand where you can help them. And from the little work they've done for you, they're already seeing quick wins. They're already seeing the benefit of what you do, but they realize they can't do it by themselves. They need your help.
So is it working better right now to have kind of a video product that they can sell and say, hey, we have this whole series of videos, you can learn how to do this? Or is it better to have that kind of smaller 3-hour intensive or 3-day intensive, whatever it might be, to be able to then garner that trust that you're talking about? What seems to be working right now in that?
I've seen both working very well. I think what will come down to is what assets do you have? What assets do you have? And then what do you think will work? What we don't want to do is we really want to avoid a situation where you're doing huge amounts of work and then you don't crickets. I remember Danny Mirasee, he tells a story of how when he built his very, very first online course, he spent months and months and months in his back cave just building something, and no one bought it. And he ended up, he was left with like $250,000 of personal debt. So obviously that's all now. That's a story now. He's learned from it. But the key thing is, whatever you offer, it should not be something that you spend huge amounts of time on and energy on. It should be something that you've got enough expertise to build relatively quickly, and then deliver it with a minimum of fuss. Don't spend months engineering something, because some of this is trial and error. I've seen, and again, this is something I've seen with the best marketers out there. They'll say, hey, I've got a great idea, I'm going to run this this program, and it sucks and no one buys it, and that's the fun side of marketing. But obviously a much larger company can afford to waste more time and take more risks trying things. If you're a smaller business and you don't have a lot of money, you don't have a lot of time, you've got to think about what are the simple quick wins, and often it's the easiest thing to do is to send people to some live training, and then on the back of the live training, people have the ability to book a discovery call, or send them to maybe some slightly more in-depth training where then people can have discovery call with you. I think that's a great formula to use.
Nice. So when it comes to utilizing your expertise and being able to, curate the relationships, look at somebody's content and see what is sellable, what's marketable, and what's JVable, what other aspects do you bring to the table that people should know about?
I think the products, the key thing is when you're developing something new, ideally, if you're able to test it internally, that's a really good start, because you need some, you need to be able to initially just try it on your own audience. How does your own audience react to it? What was the take up? What was the engagement like? And then you can decide, okay, are there other people who've got similar audiences to mine? I can try it with them. But a lot of people I know they'll do an internal launch first, right? They'll run it through their own audience, see how they respond. If it works, then they'll roll it out more widely.
I love it. So in a little bit, I'm going to ask you about your Cinderella story. But before we do that, we're going to take a little bit of a pause.
Are you running a business over 7 figures but still struggling with technology headaches? Pay attention, you do not want to miss this offer. This podcast episode is brought to you by Awareness Strategies, who is offering a custom-built digital adoption roadmap for anyone running a business over 7 figures who's wanting to grow their business in the next 5 years. And it's not just a roadmap, they offer full implementation as well if that scares the out of you. Check out awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap for more details today. The link's in the show's notes. Don't regret not doing this. Do it now. That's awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap.
Awesome. So we're all excited to know. So give us an example of a Cinderella story of one of your clients.
So I had a client approach me who his basically issue was he couldn't get partners to work with him. The reason he couldn't get partners to work with him is firstly he didn't have the contacts, but also he just didn't know how to actually get them to actually agree to work with him. And if they did, it was a case of, well, great, and then what do we do next together? So where I see JV coaches and consultants going wrong, and where I help them is the fact that they don't know where to look, right? It's yes, you have local businesses you can talk to and people you already know, but you ideally want to be working with someone who's been doing this for years, who has already got his foot in the door with companies who, if you were to approach them yourself, they would be interested in talking to you. So I think that's the first thing that really helps. I think the other thing that the client was getting stuck on is he just didn't know how to get people to work with him. And the number one mistake that people make with JVs is that they go into the whole process thinking, well, what can you do for me? And actually, for people, there is a mindset that you need to have with JVs, which is going into that relationship. You actually have to be approaching the person saying, how can I help you? Because the person you're approaching is thinking, what's in it for me? So you have to frame the whole conversation in terms of how this is going to work for them. So what I did with this particular client is just coached him and coached him actually into how do you actually handle those conversations in a way that is actually framing things so that the partner is thinking, great, this is going to be helping my business. This is I need what he's offering, because he offers a very good SaaS-based service to actually help his clients generate more referrals from the email list. So it was about framing the conversation. But another really important thing is with JVs, people don't understand that for it to work, there has to be a process, and there has to be an onboarding process. So you don't just shake hands and say, yes, let's work together, but you've always got to agree what's the next step, right? Work, great. What are we doing together? Right, let's set up a next date. Let's set up a next date to meet, and so it's putting in place an agreement, having absolute clarity on how you can support each other. But also, I think the other thing is that when you are running your own business, very often you can't see the wood from the trees. So you look at your marketing assets and you think they're fantastic, but actually, sometimes when you get somebody on the outside to see them, you see it very differently. I love referring to the fact that a lot of web designers, they think their websites look beautiful, but they suck because they don't convert. And it's the same thing. A lot of coaches and consultants, they develop marketing materials and offers that they think this is wonderful, but actually I'm thinking the JV partners audience are going to look at that and they're going to say, what? Why should I sign up for this? So I think so. I helped him I've helped him to bring a whole lot of partners on board and traffic into his list by really not just having a process for onboarding them and not just attracting them to work with him, but also actually rethinking how he presents his whole offer to his JV partners audience, so they'll actually want to buy into it, so they want to promote it, so they get excited about it. And then the final way that I've been working with this client is getting him to think about rethink JVs, because a lot of people who think joint ventures, certainly in a lot of the circles that we both mix in, a lot of people think of joint ventures in terms of, I've got an email list, you've got an email list, right? You'll promote something to me, I'll promote something to you, people will opt into our list and they might buy from us. Great, but that doesn't have to be the only type of JV. So the way we've worked together, I've gotten to completely rethink JVs, that it's not just about list swaps. He's actually selling a product that is thousands of dollars. Some of his clients are seven-figure businesses, and he actually would actually get a lot of results as well by actually having some very direct conversations with people who speak to his clients, who might be able to actually refer business directly to him. So we've actually worked in terms of actually identifying, who are partners who are connected to his clients, and why don't we look at how we can generate referrals directly from those people?
Love it.
Right. Yeah.
You bring up a great point, because oftentimes we would get people going, I just want to do Facebook ads and we'll make money off it. And I go, oh yeah, that's great. It's a good tactic. And it's also the nirvana of marketing. And unless you've done exactly what you say, to go and do the internal tests and then go to a joint venture partner and some of them get their feedback on it, test it and make sure that it is converting that high, then maybe you're ready to go into the Facebook ads arena, because you at least have an idea that this market, or the marketing and the messaging, works with a now warm market and what's going to be on a Facebook ad, a cold market. And it's a totally different animal. You can't go from a hot market to a cold market and expect it to work.
No. Yeah. So yeah, I go back to what I said earlier, that people are, there's just so much extra work that you are avoiding yourself by going into joint ventures. And even within joint ventures, there's work you could avoid. So the whole list swap thing, that's great, but you may not even have to do that. It might be a simple case of building a network of 5 or 6. And I think that's the other area of JVs where that I help in, which is that people tend to be obsessed with this idea of quantity, right? You need to work with lots and lots of partners. I want to grow my business, I need more partners. No, you want to grow your business, you need fewer partners. You actually, the 80-20 rule tells you that roughly, if you're working with 20-30 partners, about 5 or 6 of them will bring in 80% of your business. So you actually need to figure out, you brought JV partners on board. Who are those 5 or 6 or 7 partners that bring in the lion's share of your business? What can you do to raise your game with those partners to up the amount of business you bring in together?
Well, and we haven't even touched on scheduling, because if it's going to be a quid pro quo sort of relationship, then there's got to be time in your schedule too. So, and there's a ton of different questions that, I could be here all day with you, because I love talking to you, spending time with you. You're brilliant. And I love the wealth of knowledge that you bring to this industry. So I know our listeners are going to want more from you. How did they start that journey with you?
So I run a webinar on the last Thursday of every month. Except for the one in December, because Christmas is the following. No one's going to watch the webinar between Christmas and New Year. What? So maybe some people will, but I'm not running one. Yeah. I intend to take that week off. So in December, I'll be running a webinar on the 21st. Right. And you can register for that by going to www.captainjv.co.
Nice. And peeps, depending on when you're listening to this, because it could be 3 years from the time of recording, we'll also send you to Danny's website. I assume you have this posted on your website so that people can register.
And in the show notes, you'll also have a link to, if you want to book a discovery call with me, you'll be able to do that as well.
Beautiful. So peeps, like I said, we will have Danny's links in the show notes. Go ahead and scroll down and open up in a new browser, because we're not done yet. So I get to ask you, at what point in life did you know you were special kind of crazy enough to think that you could become an entrepreneur?
I realized that first in 2000 and around 2000. I realized that I was very interested in the internet and the opportunities with, there was no social media in 2000. There were just websites, but I realized opportunities, and I was really excited to kind of chart my own path there. But I didn't really, interestingly, I did not discover my calling until the age of 48.
Wow.
And that is when I joined Mirasee and I became the head of partnerships. And that was the point I decided to focus exclusively on partnerships. But yeah.
That's awesome. Well, we're glad you got the bug because it's served a whole lot of people very, very well. So I appreciate everything you've done. You've been absolutely awesome. Any last words for our peeps?
Yeah. If you're thinking, is a JV going to work for me? In almost all cases, yes. We all know, we all have people in our network. Even the biggest introvert has 1,000 contacts. And if you start thinking about who it is, whatever you're doing, stop thinking about the people who who've got connections to your clients, and they'd be delighted to help you. What are you waiting for?
Right. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it, and I know how valuable it is.
My pleasure. It's been fantastic being here.
Awesome. Peeps, thank you for being here today with us. Be sure to subscribe to the show and share it with your friends. We love helping entrepreneurs grow.
Are you running a business over 7 figures but still struggling with technology headaches? Pay attention, you do not want to miss this offer. This podcast episode is brought to you by Awareness Strategies, who is offering a custom-built digital adoption roadmap for anyone running a business over 7 figures who's wanting to grow their business in the next 5 years. And it's not just a roadmap, they offer full implementation as well if that scares the out of you. Check out awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap for more details today. The link's in the show's notes. Don't regret not doing this. Do it now. That's awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap.